Mr. Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ambassador Crocker, I want to ask two big questions, and I'm going to try to give you 4 minutes to answer, and you can even point me in the right direction if there's not enough time. But to follow up on something the ranking member said, you made a really compelling case about how we need to reverse gains that Iran has made in Iraq and roll back their hegemony there, and we can't act on that quickly enough. But within the context of the Iran-Saudi Arabia Cold War, as it was described earlier, it's hard to see how Saudi Arabia is a much better friend than Iran. Their successful exportation of Salafism, Wahhabism, the funding that continues to this day, the mess that they've helped to create in Iraq and Syria, the fact that they may have a comparable number of beheadings in Saudi Arabia, comparable to ISIS, and the fact that they aren't really accepting refugees. How do we use our influence with Saudi Arabia? What leverage do we have to get them to be a better actor? And then the other question, with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, is can you outline at 30,000 feet a comprehensive strategy for the region so that we're not picking one or the other battle and really addressing things comprehensively? You mentioned the modern area as 100 years. What's the 100-year look at this? Sorry for the short time to respond.
Yes, sir. On Saudi Arabia, yes, we have a lot of significant differences with the Saudis that John McLaughlin has alluded to. At the same time, the U.S.-Saudi relationship has been a pillar of U.S. policy and engagement in the Middle East since the end of World War II. I mean, our policies and our engagement were set on the deck of the USS Quincy in Great Bitter Lake in early 1945, the historic meeting between President Roosevelt and Ibn Saud. So before we kick the prop out from under that keystone, we better really think about it. And think, as you said so well, that when the Saudis finally got engaged, circa 2003, they did a pretty good job cleaning house. We need to build on that. There is a fundamental issue there, no pun intended, of Salafism, because if you look at the theology of Islamic State, it goes back to the same primary source of Ibn Taymiyyah, who is the primary theological source for Saudi Salafism, as it is for Islamic State jihadism. So there are some very tricky issues here, but I think we've got to be careful with that relationship, particularly at the current time. The overarching U.S. strategy, I would say it is the security and the stability of the states in the region, broadly speaking, certainly those who have been close to us. They are facing unprecedented threats. Let's look at it across the board. Who needs what from us? Lebanon, a country that I spent 6 long, hard years in, including during the Beirut embassy bombing that I survived. They are facing an existential threat through the refugee flows. 1 out of 5 people in Lebanon is a Syrian refugee. What do they need to ensure their own stability? What does Jordan need? What do the Kurds need? Under the overarching construct that a stable Middle East is a vital U.S. interest and that it has a lot of components. So that is where I would start. It raises issues of economic development, of military cooperation. There are a lot of pieces out there. This is the time to knit it into a whole, and the construct I would offer is just that. What is necessary for the security and the stability of the region and of our friends in it? This is an Arab-Israeli discussion. It is an Arab-Kurdish discussion. It is a critical American discussion.
I'm struck by the need for strategic thinking now as much as we ever have needed it. Mr. Whitman.